very good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Women's Day Panel Discussion 2023. I'm Smriti Pradhan, and I work as a Senior Data Privacy Consultant for Paramount Computers. And today I have with me our esteemed panelists joining us. We have Ms. Divya Raj, the Senior PDM of OT and IoT Security. We have Ms. Grishma Rajan, the Team Lead for GRCP. We have Rania, the Senior Information Security Consultant. And we have Devika, who's the consultant for identity and access management. Our panel of experts are not just experts in the field, but also the leaders in their respective profession. And as part of today's discussion, we would be covering issues including but not limited to the challenges faced by women in workplace, their role in leadership, and also when it comes to their career, how the right opportunities could be grabbed in order to grow their career professionally and exponentially. Without much delay, I would like to start with my first panelist. So, Grishma, this question is for you. Like, how do you transform your career, and what were those events that actually helped you to grow your profession much more exponentially?
Thank you so much, Smriti, for that question. I'm very glad to be part of this panel here. To take up that question, so I was open to opportunities, and I did pave my way for learning a lot when I had to rebound into my career. So I started as an instrumentation engineer. I had to take a break of almost 6 years to bring up my babies. So then I thought, what next? So I didn't have an opportunity, or I didn't want to look back. I wanted to go in, get into those opportunities, start learning, start unlearning on whatever I knew, and go and grab those opportunities out there. So it's very important for you to have a good intent of coming back. You have to know where you have to go and how you have to take your career path. So for me, learning and opening up to opportunities was the best thing I've ever done, which landed me up into this position right now at Paramount, and the journey has been awesome.
That's great to hear, Grishma. And you have rightly also pointed for the fact that it's not just about transforming your career, right? Because there are sometimes challenges which comes in women's journey when it comes to maternity, and how do you deal with that post that. So yes, very well said, Grishma. And having said that, let me just move on to my next question, which is something even I would like to know the perspective of women who have joined us today, right? So Devika, this question is for you. So what advice would you want to, give to young people, young women who are joining unconventional fields like cybersecurity, data privacy, and who are very young in their career? So what is that one piece of advice which you would want to give them?
Thank you, Smriti. So from my experience, the most important thing is not to get discouraged by people's assumptions. People make assumptions based on like where you're from, your background, your gender, your nationality, and various different things. But what you can do is you can work, do your job really well. Don't get offended by people's assumptions. Don't spend your energy on trying to correct that. Like their assumptions, basically. If there's something that you need to correct personally, it's fabulous to do it, but don't spend lots of your energy just trying to correct somebody else's perspective. And then keep accepting feedback, whatever's going to help you grow. Just make sure that you take all, like, whatever positive feedback that you can. Keep learning, and take every opportunity that you can get, and also don't shy away from asking for help. So whenever, like, there's no shame in asking for help. Nobody can do every single thing. And just because society has in some cases placed certain roles on people, it's not necessary. It's not your personal job to fulfill what the society has put on you. So yeah, just ask for help whenever you need it, and discuss with others. Make sure you connect with your peers as well.
Extremely well said, Devika. And in fact, all the young people who are joining us today, keep these things in mind that, don't work on assumptions. Don't try to prove somebody wrong or right. Focus on your work. And like you said, never ever hesitate, from asking help or guidance from your peers, from your colleagues. And I think that's the way to go about it. So with this, let me move on to a next interesting question, which is for Divya. So Divya, this question is for you. How do you make bold and brave decisions, right, in times of adversity? So let's say you have chosen a very unconventional path, or at least which is considered unconventional for the women, right? So how do you make the bold and the brave decisions?
Thank you, Smriti. Whenever you take a bold decision, first it has to be backed up by, like I said, leap of faith. Second, you got to know where you're going. And then to go there, you should have the set of tools that you need to fulfill the path that you have chosen to tread. If you have these three things, you will be okay. And even if you don't succeed or you're not okay, what will happen at max? You will learn, right? You're not going to lose anything. You were brave enough to take that decision and tread that path. You failed. So what? You have so many learnings with you that you can pick up again and start walking again. And if you win, good for you. So either which ways, it is a win if you look at me, because you don't lose. You either win or you learn. But you have the you can always look back and tell yourself that you had it in your guts to take that decision at that point in time, even though people chose to tell you otherwise, right? So yeah, I think that's what I would have to say.
That was a really great perspective, Divya. And leap of faith, guys, that is definitely going to keep you up in your careers. And yes, Divya, like you mentioned, that learning never stops, and leap of faith is something which is very important. Now, my last question is for my final panelist, Rania, and I don't think there's a much more excellent candidate to answer this question, right? So, Rania, this question is for you. How do you choose the right career path in your profession?
Thank you, Smriti. Yes, that's a very good question. I would ask myself this, and I would tell my younger self, let's put it this way, in a perfect world where you have all the resources in terms of time and money, what would you be spending your time on? Now have this end in mind and plan for it, how to get there, because it won't happen in one shot. It won't happen tomorrow. Educate yourself, see what skills you need to acquire. If you need to get to this post, see what it takes for you to be the eligible candidate for this post. And today, one cannot tell me, I don't know. If you don't know, it's because you don't want to know, with all the knowledge that we have at our fingertips. Surround yourself with like-minded people. If you want to be a CEO, try to seek people that they're going on the same path and learn from each other. And if you can do this being your own boss, or you can go for a job. So if you're going for a job, at least choose an employer who gives you the flexibility of doing what you want and has the same values as yours, because this is very important. This is where you're going to spend the next years, with these employers. It's a place where you feel you are treated as a human, not as a machine or differently because you're a woman or a man. And start all this today. Don't wait, don't delay it, because in a year from now, you're going to wish you started today. And I tell you, Smriti, I left myself to the flow for a few years. Like, I let myself to go with the flow. Whatever job, the next job, okay, fine, I'll take that. But if I had planned it properly earlier enough, I would have cut the time and energy wasters. I wouldn't waste time doing this and that. I would have given myself the chance of feeling fulfilled sooner than later. And please keep in mind, everybody who's listening to this, that if you down the road you feel like that what you chose is not close to your heart anymore, because we're changing, and as we saw with Divya and Grishma, they changed careers. Remake the plan. You did it, you can remake it, you can change it. Don't say, oh, I spent 5 years and so, it's too late to change. Some people, they kept saying this up until they changed after 15 years. So instead of wasting 5 years, they wasted 15 years. And restart. Don't spend the next 5 years in what you don't want. Replan, rediscover yourself, and enjoy the ride. And as Divya was saying, like, you will learn, or you will win, you will succeed. Because people on their deathbed, they regretted what they didn't do. No one regret what they did. Or maybe they did, but like they would regret more than what they didn't do. That's my 2 cents.
Your 2 cents were great cents, Rania, and I think we all can agree to very important points which you mentioned. The first point, which was about, today, if you say that you don't know something, that's because you don't want to know. And that's where it's very important for each one of us to realize that we are in an age where information is abundant. It's always better to get equipped with the right skills, the right knowledge, and get the right help in order to grow in your careers. And that's the thing, right? And the next part which you mentioned about, there is no point of keeping excuses. You should be very passionate about what you are doing, and it's the passion that brings the best out of a professional. So yes, Rania, those were some great points. And having said this, like, let me move on to a very quirky question in the end, and it's for all the women panelists out here. What is that? So being in corporate for so many years, right? So what is that one myth you want to demystify? You feel that, the myth is still associated with women who are working in corporate world, and you probably want to like demystify it, or you want to share your perspective on that. So yeah, the floor is open for this question.
Women are considered to be providers and men are considered to be hunters. But in today's day and age, that one myth that has been demystified is a woman can be a CEO, a woman can be a mother, both at the same time. It is how we choose to divide our time, prioritize, and deliver on all fronts. It's just a fine balance, I would say. And women are doing it very, very efficiently and effectively. So I can be a mommy and I can be a CEO, all at the same time.
If you want to be, if we want to be treated equally, like not a man, not a woman differently, just like a person, also people like should not, or women should not be expecting some privileges or special treatment in some situations, right? So be that person who treating everybody equally and expected to be treated equally. Now about the myth, there's one myth that always, frustrate me sometimes when people like women are not as ambitious as men. They always have, like men, they always have more ambition. I have two words for them. Mira Murati. Mira Murati is the Chief Technology Officer of OpenAI, and she's only 25 years old. So anybody who tells you women aren't ambitious, just say Mira Murati, or say Gris Marajan, or say Divya Raj, or say Rania Hamoud, or say Smruti Pradhan, or Devi Kaner. Like, we are all ambitious. Thank you.
And there is one more thought I had when you were talking about demystifying myths. The assertive, like, are women assertive, or women are not assertive? And when it comes to women, talking about assertive is not being bossy or arrogant. We are taking a decision, and it's a firm decision we are taking. Stand by us, be with us, we will guide you well. So
nice. Very, very well said, Trishma. Very well said. Yeah. So while we have these myths which have to be demystified, and of course all of us share a unique perspective on all of these, right? So having said that, I think we are just glad that we are a part of an organization where inclusivity is recognized, and women in our organization, Paramount, are given the right opportunities to make sure that they excel in their career. So yes, it's a huge shout out for our organization as well. And as we celebrate Women's Day, I think it's very important to recognize the contributions of various women all across the world who are contributing a lot in various fields, right? And this is one of those days. And I still look forward to a day where talent is given the first priority. And gender inclusivity, of course, it is important, but it's always your talent that's going to lead you from the front, right? And so that we don't require a women's day later on in life. So it's just about your talent, it's about your hard work, and that's what will make you a great professional. So with that, thank you everyone for joining our session, and yes, a very happy Women's Day to all of you. Looking forward to the next session next year, but yes, till then, goodbye and have fun.